Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City Council meeting of Tuesday, December 13th, 2016 at 6 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the regular City Council meeting, Civic League, Public Finance, Public Housing, and the Successor Agency RDA meeting all at the same time, and we'll open these with the flag salute and the invocation by the City Clerk.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, we do thank you for allowing us to be here tonight for a very special occasion. It's kind of sad sometimes, the outgoing mayor, but the new mayor coming in, so it's a bittersweet type of meeting tonight. But Father, all the council are concerned about what goes on in this community. Each has their own ideas of what needs to be done, but they work together to find the best solutions to the problems. So Father, be with them tonight as they discuss the business. It's a full meeting tonight, and we just ask that your presence be with us, your arms around us, and you watch care over us. We thank you. We praise thy holy name. Amen. Director Bach.
Here.
I'm sorry. Director Mahar.
Here.
Councilmember Director Rios.
Present.
Councilmember Director Tremble.
Here.
Councilmember Director Maravilla.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chair Member Rodriguez. Mayor Chair Member Bruce.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, there's a little bit of diversion from the order of presentations and proclamations here, so bear with us. But we're going to start with a presentation of a video on special events in the city. Please rise as the color guard of the United States Cadet Corps presents our colors.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
In a special way, on this Veterans Day, we ask your blessing upon all the men and women who have served their country in the military, in its various branches. We thank you for planting in their hearts the desire to step forward and the generosity to dedicate years of their lives in brave readiness to defend our nation and its interests.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
We salute and we honor and we remember all who have served in our armed forces under many different commander and chiefs, presidents of these United States, both loved and despised. But you veterans who are here today, and your comrades who are not, and a million others that we owe our freedom to, served your country and your commander-in-chief for duty and for country, and the very best country in the entire world.
The legislature, the governor, and the California Department of Veterans Affairs are committed to supporting our brave women and men who serve or have served for our country. Lastly, it is our privilege to offer our gratitude to all American veterans for the courage and exemplary service, for one of you deserves for every one of you deserves our admiration, not only from our city and our state, but for our country.
I would like to honor two veterans here. One is from World War II, Mr. Paulo, Martinez. So he's sitting right there. Yeah. He was a radio operator in a radar station. He was a technical radio operator. The other one was a veteran from the Korean War, and he's also lived here in Hawaiian Gardens for forever. His name is Mariano Alfaro, and he's way back there, way at the far end. Yeah. He was in artillery. He was a machine gunner. Also, I would like to also recognize our soldiers that died during the Vietnam War and Korean War, which are named on the plaque here at our Veterans Memorial. These members were from the city of Hawaiian Gardens.
To the prairies, to the oceans white with foam, God bless America, my home, sweet home.
We would like to present to each veteran with commemorative coffee mug gift set as a token of our gratitude.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along.
We have a mother and her son is actually serving in the Air Force, and he's not here with us today. And I am so proud of him. He grew up in our city.
My name is Adeline Lopez, and we are students of Hawaiian Elementary School. We're here today to honor our service men and women and to remember the sacrifices they had made.
We just pray for every veteran right now. We just pray for them across the country, across the world, my God, that you will comfort their hearts. We thank you for their bravery. We know that they were just young men, young women that went out there and were trained to do a job. We thank you for your protection over them and their families as they served. We thank you, my God, that they live and they are examples to us to follow in their footprints. We just pray in Jesus' name that you will strengthen them, comfort them, and have your way done in their lives. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I hope that this Christmas season and every Christmas season that you remember the reason for the season. Amongst all the gift giving, amongst all the holiday cheer, and amongst all the things that are going on, and all the shopping and the buying and the tinsel and the trees, I hope you'll remember that Jesus is the reason for the season, and that the greatest gift that ever came to us came to the Virgin Mary on that first Christmas Eve night. Please don't forget that, because that's really the whole thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Santa Claus, please give him a hand. Would you like to say anything, Santa? The mic is yours.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
it's a time to be friendly with everybody, to be with your families, to just be happy.
My message is just to enjoy this season right here. It's a beautiful spirit. Kids are very happy. Let's not, as adults, do anything to ruin their season. Let's enjoy it with them. Matter of fact, let's feed off their energy, and let's just all have, as a community, a good time.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here with Council Member Myra Mayoravilla. Can you tell us a little bit about today's event?
Well, today we have Santa. It's a great day to bring the family together. We light up the Christmas tree to sort of kick off the Christmas season. We're very excited. Happy holidays to all of Hawaiian Gardens, and we hope that everyone really enjoyed this event.
We're here with the one and only Mr. Santa Claus. What have some of the kids been asking you for today for their gifts?
All kinds of things, but mostly video games and cell phones.
They don't need cell phones.
Tell them that.
Nowadays, technology's taking over. Have the kids been more naughty or more nice this year, Santa?
Nicer than ever.
Hi, how are you doing today? Good. Is this your baby's first Christmas?
Yes.
How many months is she?
1.5.
Oh, that's very cute. Happy holidays. What did you like about today's event?
The fun atmosphere. You guys had a lot of great events. The kids got to see Santa. They got gifts. And we got to see the city, and that was fun. Everybody that lives here.
What did you ask Santa this year?
I wanted Hot Wheel set. Hot Wheel set.
Have you been naughty or nice?
Both.
Yes, Hawaiian Gardens knows how to celebrate, don't we? A lot of fun, those events, special for sure. Just want to put in a plug for Mel Gibson, director of Hacksaw Ridge, a movie that just came out not too long ago. Powerful movie about World War II, and a very difficult movie to watch, a beautiful story. So if you can watch something very difficult for the story, it's an excellent movie. I just saw that this weekend, and it was powerful. I'm still affected by it. So at any rate, not one to take the family to, though. I want you to know that. I did want to report out on the closed session, which I forgot to do before we went to that video. There's no reportable action on all three of the items that we discussed. We'll move on with the second part of presentations.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, and we could just formally adjourn the special meeting of both the City Council and the successor agency.
You wanted to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, so at this time, now that we've reported out of closed session, the City Council and the successor agency has adjourned at 6:22. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the second thing on the presentation of proclamations. We have a special presentation and recognition of retirees. Christina, or as most of you know her, Tina Rosas, Juana Hernandez, and Council Member Hank Trimble for their years of service to the city. So if the council will come down front. So we have three of these, and we got one of them up here. We got one of them right here. And I know Tina Rosas won't be able to be here because she's ill. I don't know. I heard that her father might be here to receive this. Is he here? Is anyone here for Tina? Okay. Well, I do want to say this about Tina before we move on with the other two presentations. This says City of Hawaiian Gardens presents a certificate of appreciation to Christina Rosas, Hawaiian Gardens City Manager's Office, employee October 18th, 1993 to June 30th, 2016. The City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens appreciates your 23 years of hard work and service to our community. Congratulations on your retirement. And the certificate is hereby presented on this 13th day of December, 2016. Signed by myself and presented by the council. And Tina, if you are listening to this, we appreciate your service, and we are praying for you. And we know that you're you're ill right now, but we are praying for your recovery, and our heart also goes out to your family as well. So let's have a hand for her, and we'll make sure she gets those. Juana is here, and Juana has just had her retirement party. But Juana, why don't you come up here and let us brag on you for a few minutes? It says here, City of Hawaiian Gardens presents a certificate of appreciation to Juana Hernandez, Hawaiian Gardens Public Works Department, employee March 2nd, 1990 to December 30th, 2016. The City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens appreciates your 26 years of hard work and service to our community. Congratulations on your retirement. And we also have a lovely Hawaiian Gardens watch. Yeah, it's got the logo and everything. Congratulations. You want to speak?
Okay. Well, all I want to say is thank you to all my fellow employees and the residents and there's Tony Baloney saying hi. Don't ever give up a good fight. It's worth it if it's for the community. So all I can tell you guys is, pay attention to what's going on around you. And I do hope my union brothers and sisters stay strong. Support your council, too. They back us up. So with that being said, thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, yeah, a picture? You want to take a picture with all of them or individually? Probably individually. Let's get a picture.
Just put him in the
Oh, it's suddenly shorter. Hang on a minute. And, of course, we can't forget the council member and retiree. I've never called you Henry in my whole life, but it says on the certificate, Henry Trimble. City of Hawaiian Gardens, Hank, come on up here. City of Hawaiian Gardens presents a certificate of appreciation to Henry Hank Trimble, Hawaiian Gardens Human Services Department, employee August 3rd, 2000 to November 30th, 2015. City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens appreciates your 26 years of hard work and service to our community. Congratulations on your retirement, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Wow. I'm wearing that right now.
Yeah, see, no city council member ever received a watch like that. That's nice. A picture? You got some words to say? I'm sure
yes,
you do.
I do. I just want to thank the city for letting me be employed here for these years. I drove a bus for the seniors, and I had the biggest compliment in January when I seen one of the seniors, 'cause I really loved taking them to their appointments and taking youth to their events. And I seen a senior, and she tells me, "You're not going to drive us no more?" And I said, "No, I'm city council now." She goes, "Well, if I knew you weren't going to drive us, I wouldn't have voted for you." That's a compliment. Let me be in the middle. Thank you. Is that it?
Let's have one more hand for our retirees. So at this time, we have another video presentation, a scrap brick presentation of my years in office here, I guess. So this is by Bashir. And so, Bashir, it better be good, because I still have 1 year left in my term. I was born in Lakewood, California, and then later we moved to Paramount, California. And then from Paramount, we moved to Fontana, California. And then from Fontana, we moved to Los Alamitos. So really, most of my child rearing happened in Los Alamitos, just over the hill from Hawaiian Gardens. And of course, my mom and dad were divorced, so my mom raised 3 of us. I was kind of a messed up child. I had epilepsy. I also could not pronounce my R's, so it was Bowie Bruce. I went to Lee Elementary School in Rossmore. Although I went to Los Alamitos High School, I graduated from Western High School. So after that, I decided to go into business, and I tried to start businesses, and of course all my businesses failed because I'm not a businessman. I was an artist, but I wasn't a good businessman. So I ended up going to college and ended up going into the art field and worked for General Telephone for a while. And then eventually I ended up going into ministry. Ended up going to Hope College, which back then was Pacific Christian College. And then in my second year, I got the opportunity to go overseas and do mission work. And I said, now that sounds fun. I wanted an experience. I didn't like just sitting in a classroom chair. So I went to a concert with my girlfriend at the time, and she was very mission-minded. And when they asked for people to stand up who were interested in the ship, I stood up, and she stood up. And I said, hey, this is a good thing. So we planned a wedding in 6 weeks. She ended up with a white dress and everything. It was going to be blue because that's all they could do within the time frame. But everything worked out. She ended up with a white dress. We got married at El Dorado Park Community Church in Long Beach. And then 6 weeks later, we were sailing away to Guatemala. We would go off the ship for maybe 4 to 6 days doing mission work, and then we'd come back, do training, and sail to a different port. And so that's what made it an adventure. And in that time, God had really led my wife and I to come back and do work in Hawaiian Gardens. Ended up renting a house in Hawaiian Gardens on Arlene Street, turned our garage into a ministry facility, and started doing kids programs. And then eventually we were able to get a storefront on 221st Street in Hawaiian Gardens and started a ministry facility. And that was the beginning of the Way Out Ministries. The main reason that I came into City Council was to affect law enforcement. That was my issue. And really, the thing that I wanted to accomplish more than anything else was to see the gang injunction change so that at least if we were going to have a gang injunction, which was a given, it was already enacted in the city, then I wanted to make sure that it was fair in the way that people were treated and that people could get off the injunction. I'm much happier now with the response that we get from law enforcement. Fiscal responsibility of the city has become much better. That's to me, one of the greatest accomplishments. Ray Rodriguez and myself, and encouraging council to vote, ended up giving us a reserve of $15 million, which we did not have before. Other things that I think are very positive that I've been able to bring in is a prayer breakfast to the city. We haven't had a prayer breakfast for years and years and years. And so the prayer breakfast brings in the faith community and shows them that we appreciate them and encourages faith in the community. And I was glad to bring in the State of the City address. Our city has not done that in the past, and I think it's very important for a mayor to be able to share with the city the state of the city and the direction that mayor wants to take the city. The other thing that I'm very happy about is the homeless coalition that was started. The community has come together, all helping the homeless, but doing so in a much more responsible way, collaborative way, and we are able to work together. My hope for the city is that it just becomes more, the people become more responsible, more involved in their community, where they're giving back. The best thing about Hawaiian Gardens, what's kept me here for 35 years, is I love the people, and I love the culture. I love the fact that it's both a blessing and a curse that everybody knows everybody. Well, hopefully people will remember me as somebody who really cares about the city, cares about the young people in our community, and somebody who didn't just say they cared, but somebody who really put feet to that. Well, thank you very much, Bashir. That turned out pretty nice. I appreciate that. At this point, it's kind of weird to be announcing these things. However, that's the way it goes. There's a presentation of a video scrapbook, I guess. That was the video scrapbook. All right. Thank you very much. And now, if there are any other presentations or proclamations, this would be the time to come up to the podium. You will. That would be great. Thank you.
Yes, I will handle this portion. I'm real good at this now. We do have a presentation from Congresswoman Sanchez's office, Michael Vong. Unless he changed his mind. Moving on, we have a presentation from Senator Mendoza's office, is Representative Ursula.
All right.
From Artesia, we have Mayor Pro Tem Sally Flowers.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sally Flowers, Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Artesia. It is my honor and pleasure to be here tonight on behalf of the citizens of the City of Artesia and the entire City Council to present this proclamation. It is a certificate of recognition for Mayor Bruce's outstanding leadership as mayor in the City of Hawaiian Gardens. And I have had the distinct, I'm going to say fun, of introducing or actually welcoming Mayor Bruce the very first day that he went to serve on Los Angeles County sanitation districts, and he was looking all around the room, and so I got to help him a little bit there. And then for whatever reason, there are 36 of us at Greater Los Angeles County Vector Control District. We meet once a month, and for whatever reason, Mayor Bruce and I sit next to each other. So we work alongside each other, and I want to tell you that he's an asset as a trustee to that district, and he serves the City of Hawaiian Gardens well. You are blessed. Thank you for your service.
Next, we have President Chris Apodaca from the ABC Unified School District and trustee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Apodaca. I am the trustee for Area 7 Hawaiian Gardens. I'm also the president of ABC Unified School District. I have with me our newly elected clerk, our Madam Clerk, Leti Mendoza from Artesia. And I have with me a proclamation that reads, ABC Unified School District Proclamation, whereas the ABC Unified School District takes great pleasure in recognizing Barry Bruce for 9 years of prosperous service to the City of Hawaiian Gardens. And whereas Barry Bruce was elected to the Hawaiian Gardens City Council in 2009, re-elected in 2013, and served as the mayor in 2015 and 2016, serves on the California Cities for Self-Reliance, Joint Power Authority, City Finance, Audit Committee, Fire Department Representative, Law Enforcement Representative, Sanitation District, Los Angeles, Vector Control District, Greater Los Angeles, Capital Improvements Committee, Business Development Committee, Personnel Committee, Task Force Committee, and whereas Barry Bruce, a Hawaiian Gardens resident for more than 30 years, has a long history of community involvement through various youth organizations. He and his wife founded the Way Out Ministries. He became an ordained minister for the Evangelical Church Alliance in 1987. He has worked extensively with the physically, mentally challenged, and at-risk youth and their families. Is a national speaker with the RCA, Reformed Church in America, and whereas Barry Bruce has earned the respect of the Hawaiian Gardens community and civic leaders, and his dedication and leadership to the City of Hawaiian Gardens has resulted in the benefit of the community as a whole. And now, therefore, the Board of Education, on behalf of ABC Unified School District, does hereby congratulate Barry Bruce for his years of dedicated service to the City of Hawaiian Gardens, proclaimed the 13th day of December 2016.
From the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Sergeant Macy.
Hello, good evening. Are we on? Yeah, we are. Barry, on behalf of our department, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, for your dedication and service to the community and our partnership, 100% dedication, great friendship. I'd like to present you with this scroll.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Let's
Congratulations. Thanks, yeah.
From the Cerritos Chamber of Commerce, President Scott Smith.
Hello again. Scott Smith. I'm the President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined here by one of my board members, Dr. Alexander Hananashvili. Mr. Mayor, thank you for all you've done for the business community. We appreciate your work and your dedication, and we know you've left a better community after your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone is in the audience that I didn't get your name and you wish to present, please come forward now.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to receive these things, of course, and it's a particular honor to receive a couple of them simply because there's been a lot of work. The Sheriff's Department, let me tell you, those don't come too easily. So I do appreciate that tremendously, and I do appreciate also, and this is not to discredit any of the other gifts, they're all very appreciated, but President Apodaca, one of the very good things that I did as mayor was to make sure that you got elected to the Board of Trustees of ABC Unified School District. So I'm very proud of that accomplishment. Because we got a good man there, and now president of the ABC board. So that's great.
And the final presentation is from the city, the gavel and the book of the memories for the year.
Thank you very much. This is also pretty good right here. And I do want to thank, while I'm up here, rather than speaking from there, I just want to say a few words, and those will be very brief because it's going to be a long meeting. But the thing is I really do thank my family, my wife especially, for putting up with me being a city council member, first of all, and then relinquishing me as mayor for 2 years as well. It's a strain on the family, as every mayor finds out, as every city council member finds out. When I came into city council, I really thought it was a much easier job than it is. It is not easy. So for anyone considering being a council member, it's a tough road to walk, but it's worth walking. So I thank my family. I thank my church, because my church had to give up their pastor pretty much to not just be someone who is available to them, but somebody who is available to an entire city as well. And so they've been very special to allow me to do that, and gracious. I thank individual staff people here at the city, and you know who you are, the ones that were very good not to stab me in the back, because there's a lot of stabbings that happen. But some of you never did that. Some of you never spoke badly behind my back, but were always honest and spoke to my face. And that's not to say that we always agreed. We haven't always agreed, but we did speak honestly to one another, and that I sincerely appreciate. Because really that's what it's all about. People of the city of Hawaiian Gardens is honesty with one another, communication with one another, not gossip, but honesty, truth, and speaking the truth firmly and plainly, sometimes agreeing to disagree, but always speaking the truth. And sometimes the truth is hard to hear, but it is the best way to go every time. Of course, it says in Scripture, the truth will set you free. It's not just a clip from a Jim Carrey movie. It's actually in the Bible. So that's my encouragement to the city. Stay truthful, stay honest, communicate with one another, love one another. We can make this community stronger and stronger and stronger by doing that. And give back. Don't just take, give back. And give lavishly, because that's really what it's all about as long as we're on this earth, right? So thank you very much for allowing me to serve. And to my constituents, to those who voted me into office, I sincerely thank you because, of course, without you, I would have never been able to have this experience in the first place. And to the colleagues that also elected me as mayor, and of course that's not all of my colleagues, but some of my colleagues, I thank you as well for the opportunity to serve. Thank you so much. And God bless you all. Okay, are you still rolling there? Okay.
We will now have the reorganization of the members of the City Council. So I'm taking nominations for the position of mayor.
I would like to nominate Hank Trimble.
Are there any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Mariana Rios. She's been a great advocate for our youth, and last year, unfortunately, she didn't get the opportunity to serve as mayor after having served a year as mayor pro tem, and she's also very well experienced.
Any more nominations? The nominations are closed. All in favor for Hank Trimble, please raise your hand. Hank is our new mayor. Mr. Trimble. Now, Councilman Mayor Trimble, you open nominations for the Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd like to nominate Barry Bruce to be Mayor Pro Tem because of his leadership.
Any more nominations? Nominations are closed. Mayor Bruce is now Mayor Pro Tem Bruce.
At this time, we can recess to a celebration. Excuse me? No. We'll go ahead and recess to well, we could do oral communications, but I just should we do oral communications first and then move to the celebration?
Don't we switch?
Okay, so then we will go ahead and go to oral communications. That will be a time reserved for members of the public wishing to speak on items on and not on the agenda. And then we will go ahead and go to an oral presentation by trustee and president Chris Apodaca because of time constraints and maybe they need to leave. And then we will break and you can all eat the delicious food you've been smelling the whole time you've been sitting there. How's that go? Are there any people that would like to come up for oral communications?
Just point of clarification, if we've already reorganized, don't we switch reorganization?
We will change positions during the reception time, and Mayor Trimble is the one in charge of the meeting at this point.
Mm-hmm. We'll open up for oral communications. Anybody wishing to speak, please come to the podium and say your piece.
To y'all. My name is Robert Prida. I live at 8150 Woodson Drive in Long Beach. And congratulations to Hank and Mary Ann, ongoing president. My blessings. What I've got to say is I got a question. On 226th Street, you got the for sale signs on those vacant lots. Now, maybe I'm imagining things. You're not going to put homes on there, I hope. But the only reason I say this is because you got cars parked all along 226th. And that would be an ideal place to get the cars off the street and park right there. Because a lot of people live in those areas, they've got to park right there. They got to park on the main street. That would be an ideal spot for them. But just, other than that, thank you very much.
Anybody else with public comments?
I have a copy of the letter, if you don't mind handing it to the council, please. One for each and one for yourself. My name is Pedro Amaro, resident Hawaiian Gardens. This letter that I'm handing out is a courtesy notice that was sent out by one of your code enforcement officers. It was sent to the wrong address by accident. Unfortunately, the individual from code enforcement didn't do their job properly by getting off that vehicle and going to find out who the owner of that trash can was, and they sent the letter to the wrong individual. When that individual, the resident, called the city and spoke to the code enforcement officer, the individual was rude and condescending to the resident. And unfortunately, I feel that they need some type of training, whether it's some type of sensory type or training or communicational skills, because unfortunately, it doesn't feel right when that said individual or resident doesn't want to come and complain because they're afraid of any repercussions that may come to them. So with that, I went ahead and looked at the municipal code as far as Title VI, Health and Safety, Chapter 6.1 as far as refuse and garbage, and you have Chapter 6.121010, which is illegal dumping. I'm afraid that people are still illegal dumping out there, and it's not going to get cleared up unless the city does something about it. The only options that I can give would be either A, sending them a letter to the property managers, homeowner associations, tenants, and all the homeowners, letting them know of maybe three options. Option one would be, the city having that city cleanup. Option number two, that they have the right to contact the trash company. And three, perhaps the city should impose some types of fines and fees if Public Works has to come out and pick up the trash for them. Because I feel that the people are still going to continue to dump and, illegally dump. So with the other thing that I noticed there is 6.12.020, unsightliness, which is any person or former corporation who owns or has any care of management of any real property should clean up their mess. If not, it's going to be a misdemeanor, and it's right there on your ordinance. But yet, code enforcement sends out wrong letters to the wrong people with not getting out of the vehicle. They're rude and condescending when the resident calls them. So I feel that a letter should be sent out to property managers, homeowners, tenants, residents, property owners, business owners, anybody that has to deal with trash, because unfortunately, nothing's going to get done. But I'm hoping that you guys deal with it, because I know that sensitive training or communicational training should be done for some of the employees. Thank you.
Anyone else with public comments? At this time, we're going to close our public comments. And is there any council that would like to comment on any of these remarks?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, before we go forward with that, I was remiss in not taking the vote on the Mayor Pro Tem. So can we have a vote now for Barry Bruce as Mayor Pro Tem? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry, you said you didn't say no.
Any opposed?
No.
Thank you.
Is there any comments from council to what has been said by our residents?
Comment to Pedro, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We're currently working on solving the issue of illegal dumping. So perhaps I can schedule another meeting with you and the several other individuals that we had previously met with to talk about this. Thank you.
Also, my comment is to Pedro. Thank you for bringing the matter to our concern. Obviously, we always want our employees to best represent our city in any matter that is brought to City Hall. Whenever any resident approaches us, I know most people don't come here unless they really need to, that we do welcome them and are courteous to them. My question is directly to our city manager. Have you been aware of this concern? Okay, this is a personnel matter, so that's as far as I can comment, but I'm sure she will proceed from this moment. Thank you, Pedro.
Linda, I was going to ask you, is there a complaint sheet? Is there a sheet that they fill out?
There are complaint forms that can be submitted. I did not receive this one. If it was turned in, I did not receive it yet.
Well, the residents probably don't know that there is a sheet, a form. So we'll just let them know now that there's a form of complaint that you can file against any employee that's being rude in any situation. I have a comment for Bob Prida. We had a closed session concerning these little lots, and you're going to be very happy with our report at our next meeting because we're still hashing that out, but you're going to be very pleased with the result of that.
I just like to make a comment on the problem with the trash. It's very difficult to pin it at somebody because if they put a couch in front of somebody's house, maybe somebody else from down the neighborhood, and of course nobody's going to admit it. What I would like to say, I would like to say a few words in Spanish to our residents about how they can get rid of those big items very easily. Para ustedes, todos los residentes de Hawaiian Garden, el problema que tenemos es que tiran basuras, gabinetes, colchones, camas, couches en la calle. Y es muy fácil para tirar eso nomás hablando a la compañía de trash o como se dice, basura. En los botes que tienen ustedes, ahí tienen el número del teléfono. Si les hablan el día antes de que levanten la basura, como el martes, que tienen un colchón o un couch ahí enfrente, que ellos vienen y lo levantan el miércoles. Por eso es que no debemos de tener tanto problema cuando ustedes mismos cuando van por las calles y miran todo tirados ahí enfrente de la calle. Y pues nadie va a decir que son de ellos, aunque esté enfrente de su casa. No, yo no fui la que lo puse y alguien vino y los puso ahí. Pero si todos cooperamos para ese problema que tenemos, pero nosotros no somos los únicos. Hay otras ciudades que tienen el mismo problema, muchas ciudades. Y como les digo, nomás háblenle a la compañía de basura en el número que está en sus botes un día antes de que levantan la basura. Ellos vienen y levantan colchones, levantan couches, levantan lo que tengan allí grande, ellos vienen y lo levantan. Gracias.
Do you want to say that in English?
Yes, I was just saying that it is very easy to get rid of all these big, bulky objects like couches, mattresses and all that, and sometimes I see some cabinets out there. All you have to do is call the trash company the phone number is on your trash cans. And all you have to do is call them one day before pickup day, which is pickup day here is on Wednesdays. All you have to do is call them on Tuesday, and they'll come and pick it up. All they ask for the address of where the items are, and they'll come and pick them up. It's very easily so, and like I was saying, we're not the only community that has these problems. Other cities around us have the same problems. But there shouldn't be no need to, because it's so easy to get rid of those items. I myself, when I have a cabinet or something, I'll just break it up and throw it in the trash can instead of having the big bulky item. But it's up to you. It's up to you to do the right thing and just call them up, and they'll come and pick it up. Thank you.
And I'd just like to add, if you are throwing away a refrigerator, please take a rope and tie the door shut, because children often go in there and they suffocate. inside of those things. Also a couch. I know personally of a family who lost their 2 children because they crawled in a couch that was upside down that was being dumped, and they were playing with matches and they burned to death because the couches are so flammable. So please call the sanitation people, let them know, and dump your thing that next morning so that they pick it up and it's gone right away. Makes our city look better, and it's much safer for everybody. So thank you.
We're going to move on to oral presentation and update by ABC School District Trustee and President, Mr. Chris Apodaca.
I'm sorry, I'm the only thing standing between you and the reception. My name is Chris Apodaca. Once again, I'm, as of Tuesday, the president of ABC Unified School District. Thank you. I'm happy to say that it was a unanimous vote, and it seems like the only hesitancy was on my part. But I can say that I'm very humbled just in this last week learning the scope of what we do at the district. I'm grateful to this district staff as well as my colleagues for selecting me. I wanted to give you guys a quick update since it's the end of the year, what we have going on this coming year, specifically what I'd like to see at our board moving forward. And I think there should be a very large emphasis on the fact that as a district, that's a very diverse district that has 45% Latinos, Latino Hispanic students, 38% Asian or Pacific Islander, 9% African American, and 7% white Caucasian. Every single day I get phone calls from parents, and I run into parents, and I've had some rather memorable conversations with young students. I said this the night that we had our reorganization, and I'll say it again. We will use every and all means available to us at the district level to make sure that our children not only feel safe, but are safe at school, at home, on their way to school, and on their way home. That said, I brought some articles, an article that our superintendent wrote in our district digest. There's about 20 of them. Please take one. Please read it. You can read it online with regards to these concerns that are rather pervasive, not just on the south side, but actually throughout the entire district. Also, I was asked with regards to an incentive program, and I believe our district did respond. Our principals are grateful for everything that you do. Our board, our district especially, we value your collaboration and the fact that you come to us asking for more ways to stretch a dollar. And in this instance, our principals are thrilled to be able to manage funds at their site. We try to enable our principals to adapt the conditions at their school site to their student, to their teachers, to their staff. So to be able to allow them to adopt incentives that they know will be effective for their students is amazing. And so I want to thank you on behalf of the school district and our principals for that amazing support and your generosity. Also to this next year, I would like to see a larger push from the community as well as from the district. We've been talking about this for a few months. Now that we have the reorganization's gone through, we have a better perspective of our finances with the recent election and the proposed budget coming from the governor. We'd like to see a return of the performing arts. We would like to see choirs. We would like to see musical theater. We would like to see our award-winning marching bands not have to tape together pieces of tubas and trumpets. And we can do that, but we need the support of the community, of the council, of all other elected officials. And you'll hear more about that after the new year. That said, thank you again for allowing me to be your trustee. For all of those at home and those of you here as well that are going through finals, hang in there. You know, it's the home stretch. And for all of those at home, thank you again for your confidence. The safety and education of your children is the most important, not just to me, and I can speak for the entire board now, but for our entire board and district staff. As always, if you have any concerns, please reach out to me directly. Please call me. My cell phone is just about everywhere. Call the district office. Finally, one last thing, and then we'll go to the reception. I have 2 openings for a very important committee, and I'm talking extremely important. It's the facilities committee. this committee goes out to all of our school sites, and they have been. Schools that you would not believe need updating in infrastructure need vital updating to infrastructure. I'm talking about schools that are not in our immediate area. I'm talking about schools where if you read the report, you'd say, wow, really? You would never think. Please, 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 if you have one Thursday a month available, come to the facilities meeting. Contact me, contact the district. It's a very important and critical role that will enable funding for our schools. That's about it. Any other questions? I apologize, I'm a little hoarse. I'm recovering from a cold, so.
We have attended a couple of meetings on facilities, and we went to the Artesia High. I guess we're members there, are we not? Hank and I.
This is a different committee, Mr. Rodriguez. This is only specific to Artesia High School.
No, this is also the one in Fetty. We're talking about all the schools, right?
The committee he's mentioning.
Correct. So this facilities committee is a reevaluation of all of our infrastructure at all of our schools, K through 12, and I believe the adult schools included as well.
We have attended two already. But it's up to whoever wants to volunteer here. We have attended the one in Artesia. Twice we had meetings there, and we went through the whole school twice, and we did the same with Fetty. We were invited by Principal Richard Lois, and also we were invited by Mr. Garcia. So I don't know, and I think you also have. I think that committee also requires a member of the community, or
correct. So
they're all members of the community.
They're all members of the ABC Unified School District, and we also have our union members and or labor representatives. But we have 2 per board member, and we also have 1 alternate that is a non-voting member. Mm-hmm. That tells you something about the scope of this committee and the effect that it'll have on the funding for our schools. Every other committee has 1 appointed community member. This has 3. Hawaiian Gardens has 1 present right now. We had one that had to step away, and we had another that had a tragedy in their family. They weren't able to stay either. But this, out of all of the committees, this is the committee that we need because it's what will, at the end of the day, delineate what our needs are in infrastructure. And especially on the south side, it's important to have that representation. And every person I've approached has either, everybody works, I get that. But this is really important. So if there's any parents out there that are listening, or if any of you can make recommendations, please do. We need to fill these vacancies, and I'd like to have them filled before the first board meeting of the year.
I have a question. Have you reached out to the local PTAs?
Currently within our city? No. Well, we don't have one. Ferguson started up. We don't have one at Hawaiian yet. Fetty, that would be a good idea. I'd be happy. That's a good recommendation. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, let's go eat. Thank you. Have a good night.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I'd like to thank you very much for the fine job you're doing with ABC School District, and we love working with your board, with each and every one of them, and we look forward to continually working wisely with them. So you have a good night. At this time, we're going to break for our reception. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back from our break. We're going to begin with agenda organization. At this time, I would like to conduct our special meeting and our public housing and the successor agency meeting to be opened now. We'll resume to regular. No, we don't resume to our regular council meeting, this part. We go to our successor agency. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, then we will go to Public Financing Authority, just to the purpose of reorganization of members. And the reorganization should read as follows. Chairman would be Mayor Hank Trimble. Yes. Correct?
Oh, you open nominations.
Aren't these appointed by a? Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then we'll turn this over to Sue Underwood, who's going to.
Nominations are now open for the chair member of the Public Financing Authority.
I'll nominate Hank for chair member.
Any other nominations? Nominations are now closed. All in favor of Mayor Tremble for the chair member, please raise your hands. Thank you. Unanimous vote. Now you do.
Well, for vice chair member, I'd like to nominate our mayor pro tem, Barry Bruce.
Any more nominations? Nominations are now closed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, you can close this meeting now if you'd like to.
Yeah, because, so the director stays.
I said no,
there.
but-
You're only nominating those two?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, at this time on our adjournment, I'd like to notice to be read. This notice is hereby dated on the 13th day of December 2016.
Just a note, because Financing Authority and the Civic League are two meetings that I only call once a year for the reorganization, and then next month we'll have the minutes on it to certify the reorganization, basically, and then there won't be another meeting probably until the end of next year.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to open up the City of Hawaiian Gardens Public Housing Authority. We will now open Public Housing Authority with. Oh, I turn that over to you.
Yeah. It's a one-pager.
It's a
Yes.
one-pager.
Basically, it's the same thing, so nominations are now open.
I had it at one time. I just don't see it.
That's all right.
now.
Nominations are now over for the chair member of the Civic League.
Okay.
Nominations are now open for the chair of the Civic League.
I'll nominate Hank Trimble for the chair.
Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. All in favor of Mr. Tremble for the chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Nominations are now open for the vice chair.
Here I am.
Nominations open for the vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Barry Bruce for vice chairman.
Any other nominations?
Civic League.
Nominations are now closed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And now you may adjourn this meeting if you'd like to.
Okay, we'd like to open up Public Housing Authority. Okay. I make a motion to adjourn the Civic League special meeting.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's closed. Now I'd like to open Public Housing Authority. We will now open with Public Housing Authority with reorganization of members and business.
Nominations are now open for the chair member of the Public Housing Authority.
Nominate Hank Trimble for chair member.
Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Nominations are now open for the vice chair member of the Housing Authority.
I'll nominate Barry Bruce for vice chairman.
Any other nominations? Nominations are now closed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any noes?
Aye. No.
Okay.
Now you can-
Do we move on to business?
No,
Or do we
Public
close this
housing.
session?
We have a lot of business.
Okay.
Public hearing. Joint public hearing.
Okay, we'll move on to public hearing. 1A, conducts joint public hearings with successor agency to the RDA and to adopt the following resolutions. Do I read the resolution? A, adopt resolution 2016-015 to accept the transfer of certain housing assets of the former Hawaiian Garden Redevelopment Agency from the successors agency to the former Hawaiian Gardens Redevelopment Agency. Joe, can you please give us a report?
Sure. Honorable Chairperson and members of the board, staff has requested a joint hearing between the successor agency and the Housing Authority, and we are requesting that you adopt 4 resolutions. So there are 2 resolutions, one a set for the successor agency and a set for the Housing Authority. The purpose of this is to approve the transactions or the various sales of the former redevelopment agency sites, and then 2, we are requesting that these sites be transferred to the Housing Authority. So we are requesting that both of these items be done simultaneously. So what this item is all about is basically, as you know, the redevelopment agency, there's been a dissolution of the redevelopment agency as a result of the California legislature. Thus, we have several sites that have been identified in the long-range property management plan that was approved by the city and, of course, the Department of Finance. Subsequently, we then hired a real estate broker, Cosmont and Associates, to help us with the sale of those sites. We have met in closed session to discuss the disposition of those sites. I just wanted to note that we did do an extensive advertising campaign to notify residents and tenants or people that live here in the community. We did put this on the marquee. We did put it on the internet. We do have a pretty extensive log of various people that were interested in wanting to buy these parcels. We did conduct 3 phases. So the first phase was done not too long ago where you did sell 2 parcels on IBEX. This one's phase 2 and phase 3. Please note that all transactions that is going to occur here tonight is also going to be heard by the Oversight Board, which is scheduled to meet tomorrow. All the transactions are, for the most part, being recommended to the highest bidder. And again, as I indicated, this is a joint public hearing between the successor and the Housing Authority. The second component is that we are requesting that you transfer all assets of the housing, of these parcels to the Housing Authority. And this is something that the redevelopment law allows us to do. And if we are successful in finding all the proper documentation, we will be able to retain the proceeds of those sites. Okay, and at that time, we will then come back before you and decide what to do with those proceeds, which more than likely we will have to utilize them for low-income type of projects such as rehabs or low-income or first-time home buyer programs for low-income families. But we do have a lot of work ahead of us to find documentation that can go back as maybe 20, 25 years. In the meantime, we are recommending that the sites as identified in your exhibits 1 through 15. I will have Chris, our Deputy City Attorney, indicate the actual proposed sale of these sites. We are going to exclude those 6, 7, and 14. That's something that we will discuss in the future. Chris, you want to?
Yeah, certainly. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, our Chair, members of the Housing Commission and Successor Agency Board. Good evening. So to give a little bit more background on the 4 separate actions that were 2 of which we're requesting the successor agency to make and 2 which we're requesting the Housing Authority to make. And I think just by focusing on those actions for a moment, we'll clarify this issue. So the first successor agency resolution is number 2016-025. And this resolution would approve the sale of certain properties that are listed on page 3 of your staff report in a chart, with the exception of properties 6, 7, and 14, which I'll come back to. So Exhibit A would list the properties that the successor agency authorizes to sell, which again is the chart on page 3 of the staff report with the modifications I referenced. Exhibit B of that same resolution lists the properties, the purchasers that the body selects, as well as the proposed purchase price. Exhibit C is a proposed draft purchase and sale agreement that we're requesting authority to finalize on the terms and conditions that the city attorney's office approves. Now, coupled with that successor agency resolution, there's a housing authority resolution, number HA 2016-016. And this resolution approves of the same exact transactions I just described that this successor agency will be considering. But because staff feels that these properties are actually owned by the housing authority as a matter of law, and it's a procedural hurdle that we have to accomplish to get the state's approval of that, we're proceeding as if the housing authority has jurisdiction to consent to these transactions as well. So that is, again, the housing resolution I referenced, and it has, it'll have the same exhibit, A, listing the properties that the successor agency sells, with the addition of, and these assets are listed on pages 4 and 5 of the joint staff report. Properties 11 and 12 and 14, my understanding, have already been approved for sale, or they'll be coming forward at a future time. But we are requesting at this time that the Housing Authority approve the transfer of these assets to the Housing Authority. Moving on to the second successor agency resolution. This is resolution number 2016-26. And this provides for the approval of the proceeds of the property sales to the Housing Authority. Again, as we referenced, staff feels that these properties should be owned as a matter of law by the housing entity. And pursuant to the community redevelopment law, any proceeds of housing assets should be used for low and moderate income housing purposes. So the second successor agency resolution, again, resolution number 2016-26, would approve the transfer of the sale proceeds of these properties to the Housing Authority. And again, Exhibit A lists the proposed properties with the modification staff is requesting for 6, 7, and 14, and the proposed purchase and sale agreement. And finally, there's the Housing Authority resolution, make sure I get the number right, HA 2016-10015, and that is accepting the successor agency's transfer of these housing assets. Now, if I may, I'd like to read through the actual proposals that staff is recommending. There are several properties, so please bear with me as I read these aloud. And again, if the bodies jointly approve this action, these are the transactions that staff will finalize. So for property number 1 at 12302 221 221 First Street, also references long-range property management plan property number 1. Staff recommends that the successor agency and housing authority sell the property to Herbold and Carmelito Samai for the price of $205,000. Property number 2 at 12429 221st Street, long-range property management plan property 2. The staff is recommending the same buyer for $172,000. Property number 3, the staff's recommended buyer is Coast Equity Partners LLC for $85,000. Property 4 at 12323 223 3rd Street. The recommended buyer is Herbert and Carmelito Sama, I apologize, for $202,000. Property 5, located at 22330 through 22336 Arlene, my apologies. The recommended purchaser is Victor Flores and Clement Flores for $150,000. Property number 6, 22402 through 22404 Clarkdale. Oh, I'm sorry. Staff will be requesting that this one be continued. The same for property number 7, which is located at 22404 through 22410 Clarkdale. We'll be requesting that transaction be continued as well. Property 8 that we're requesting approval for is located at 22408 Elaine Avenue. The recommended buyer is Coast Equity Partners for $85,000. Property 9, located at 22417 Elaine Avenue. Again, Coast Equity Partners is recommended buyer for $85,000. Property 10, 21931 Ibex Avenue. The recommended purchaser is Yosef Zakaraini. For this item, negotiations are still ongoing, but staff is requesting that the board approve a purchase price of not less than $200,000, but authorize the city staff to finalize the transaction for such additional amounts if they're able to negotiate that. Item number 11, property number 11, 2221 Juliet Avenue. Recommended buyer is Kenneth Carlson for $315,000. Property 12 at 22411 through 22415 Sain Avenue. Recommended buyer is Herbold and Carmelito Samai for $193,000. We're holding 13, right? And 14. Okay. And staff is recommending that the board continue properties 13 and 14. I'm sorry. For property 13, staff is recommending, which is located at 22308 Violeta. The recommended buyer is Jesus Avina for $35,000. Property 14, located at 22407 through 22413, staff is requesting be continued. And finally, property 15, located at 22414 and 22418 Violeta. Staff is recommending Herbert and Carmelito Samai for $73,000. I apologize for the long-winded nature of that recitation, but the purchase price and the recommended purchasers are not listed in the staff report, so it was necessary to put that in the record. So at this time, we're happy to take any questions. If the board doesn't have any at this time, it would be appropriate to open the joint public hearing and entertain any public comments on the proposed transaction.
Does any council have any comments for this young man?
Christopher, thank you so much for providing us with additional information in closed session. I appreciate the effort in informing the public as well. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, I would like to open up to the public if they have any comments. Public hearing. Motion to open public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Now it's open for public comments. Anybody have anything to say? You can step up to the dais.
Good evening, y'all. Congratulations on our new arrangement, and thank you all for continuing to serve us. We appreciate you. Really quickly, I just wanted to ask, what is the cost, what is the value per square foot that's assigned to these properties? Do we have an average value? What are the high values? What are the low values? And are these developers going to be restricted to having single-family dwellings, or are they going to be allowed, as I've seen in some cases where some people purchase and build a place and they build a 4-bedroom house, but they rent out each bedroom to a different group of people, and then you have not a good situation for the neighborhoods. So I'd like to know if there are going to be restrictions on that, and again, the value per square foot that the prices are. Thank you.
Jan, thank you so much. May I respond?
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, at this point, I would recommend that we continue on with the public hearing and make sure that the comments that the members of the public have spoken, and close public comment, and then perhaps we can respond to any questions that the members of the public had raised.
Yes, I understand. So she just got through, so if anyone else would like to come up and speak, please do. Okay, then we're going to close our public comments. I make a motion to close.
Nice.
Okay. And concerning public, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, concerning public hearing, A,
One discuss this now for question.
okay, all right. Does anybody have any comments for the lady that just spoke?
I think
I'll
somebody
defer.
in the development department should answer those questions.
I think Joe would be
Yeah. All of the parcels were sold above the asking price or the price that was established in the long-range property management plan as approved by the successor agency and the State Department of Finance. Some of them doubled the price, so it's a really good market out there for these sites. They probably ranged at least over $30 a square foot. So we're only required to sell at the PMP price, but a good majority of these, some of them have sold for almost double the amount. And the use of the property, we are requesting that they are a single-family development, so that's what's being proposed on these sites. So more than likely what will happen is that, these are developers and they will build and then sell to the general market.
Jan, I wanted to add to that. In addition, anything that the developers propose must go through the Planning Commission if there are any variances or anything like that, and it will obviously go through Joe's department. It's also a concern of mine to make sure that developers don't come into our city and neglect the properties that they build. So as of now, Joe can probably share this information as well, that the developers will come in, build single-family homes, and then sell them to buyers. So these, as far as I'm concerned, will not be rental properties, so that shouldn't affect the value of neighboring homes.
Yeah, we're treating these parcels no different than when we had a redevelopment agency and we would do a disposition and development agreement. So similar process, but different purpose.
Okay, any further comments? Okay, at this time, I would like to, concerning public hearing 1A and B, I would like to make a motion to a resolution to waive further reading and adopt resolution number 2016-015, A and B. Each one separate? Okay. Okay, then I will make a motion for resolution on A 2016-015. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion on B, adopt resolution number 2016-016. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we will go to B, the consent calendar.
If I may, Honorable Chair, we
Yes.
still need to consider the successor agency resolutions, which are listed separately. So there's successor agency resolution 2016-25 and 206-26.
Mr. Attorney, what's my response to him?
So the Housing Authority just adopted the housing resolutions, accepting the proposed sale proceeds as housing assets and also consenting to the sale. Staff is recommending that the successor agency now adopt resolution 2016-25, actually approving the sale, and resolution 2016-26, approving the transfer of the sale proceeds to the Housing Authority. So it's the second half of the transaction.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to adopt those resolutions.
You have to read them.
2016-25 and 2016-26. Okay. The first one, A, 2016-25. I make a motion to pass that.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
B, I make a motion to pass 2016-26. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. There was one more cleanup matter. Staff would like to request that the board continue this joint public hearing for properties listed 6, 7, and 14 on staff report, page 3. I believe staff is requesting the second meeting in January as the date to continue the public hearing on those specific properties. So that would be January 24th at 6 p.m. So staff would request a motion and a second, as I just stated.
Oh,
I have a question. Why was January 24th selected?
It is approximately 30 days from where we sit here today. In closed session, the board had a few questions on these properties, and staff feels that that's a preliminary timeline for when it can provide the responsive information.
Right.
If it's not available at that time, the board can always continue it again.
Is that a regular scheduled council meeting is what I'm referring to?
yeah.
Yes,
It is. Okay, pulling up my calendar in front of me. Thank you.
I make a motion to accept the attorney's statement.
That.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
So you're on a consent calendar now
Okay.
for public housing authority.
Okay.
B.
We'll continue with Housing Authority. Consent calendar. There's 3 items. Would anybody like to pull any of these items? No, we're still on Housing Authority. And we are on B, consent calendar. Would anybody like to pull any of these 3 items? I make a motion to accept these as is. Can I get a second?
No, second. Oh, sorry.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion items. Consideration to cancel the regular Public Housing Authority meeting scheduled for December 27th, 2016 due to holidays and to declare the meeting dark. I make a motion to approve this. Can I get a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There'll be no closed session. Any oral staff reports? Oral board reports? I now make a motion to...
Actually, just a point of information out of courtesy, we do have 2 community members on our board, and they're usually the ones eager to make the motions. And I appreciate them doing so because that's like the community supporting in terms of what we're doing. I know you're jumping in your job, Mr. Mayor Trimble, but just point of information. So I know these ladies.
I wish I knew that earlier. I would have made my job a whole lot simpler. So go ahead.
There you go. Thank you.
We're going to adjourn. I make a motion to adjourn the Housing Authority. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we will move to our next meeting will be January 10th. Is that correct? 2017? 24th. Our next meeting will be January 24th, 2017. Merry Christmas and have a good one. Okay. Wow.
I can see it. Huh? Noel?
We're going to resume with our public hearings to a regular council meeting.
No, we still have some items on the successor agency agenda. So
We
just
do?
finished the public housing one. So there's a couple items on the successor agency agenda. There's some items on consent.
Oh, we didn't?
But we will now.
Okay, yes, yes. Oh, okay.
No, it's just, wait. What were the?
So back to the
what were the
RDA.
items that are undone? On the record. It's, we're here, we're at. Is this the successor agency agenda?
This is successor agency.
Successor agency. We are here.
Oh, yes, okay. We are on the successor agency meeting, and we are at the consent calendar. There's 2 items on the consent calendar. Would anybody like to pull any of these items? I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent calendar as is.
Second.
Can I, second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion items. Consider to cancel the regular scheduled for December. Let me read that again. Consideration to cancel the regular meeting scheduled for December 27th, 2016 due to holiday and declare the meeting dark. I make that motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any new business? Oral staff report? Oral agency report? I make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Can I get a second?
Are we adjourning to a date certain?
For until January 10th, 2017.
That's,
So if we can.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting until January 10th, 2017.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Meeting's closed.
Not the whole meeting. We got more.
Now we're back. We're going to resume to our regular council meeting. Ordinances. Conduct second reading and adopt ordinance number 567 to amend Title 12, Section 12-20-010 of Hawaiian Garden Municipal Code regarding regulating animals in City Park. Joe, can you give us an update on this?
Oh, who's this? This is not me.
He does not give us an update?
Yeah, that would be Joe's. Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong place. We had done the first reading of this ordinance. This was the one that was clarifying that dogs are prohibited in the parks. And we did the first reading. Now this is the second reading. At this time, we would adopt that.
Okay. Then I would make a motion to adopt. I'll make a motion to adopt this reading. Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now he has to read it, right, correctly?
Yeah, so if we can read it by title.
Ordinance number 567, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, County of Los Angeles, State of California, amending Title 12, Section 12.20.010 of the Hawaiian Garden Municipal Code regulating animals in city parks. I make a motion to receive this. Can I get a second?
You just have to read it.
I just have to read it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
For the record. So So it's a done deal.
So the council approved, right?
Yes,
5-0.
yes.
So move on to number 2.
Number 2, conduct second reading and adopt ordinance number 568 to amend chapter 12.21 of the Hawaiian Garden Municipal Code relating to skate parks.
Okay. On March 26, 2002, the City Council adopted Ordinance 471 of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, amending Chapter 12.21 of the Hawaiian Gardens Municipal Code as it relates to the designation and usage of skate parks. The city must now amend the ordinance to correct clerical errors within the ordinance and to grant the city manager authority to effectuate the ordinance. So what this is they were incorrectly numbered. There were errors in the it never was adopted into the municipal code. So we made those corrections, and we brought back the item for a second reading, which
Thank
will
you.
adopt it.
Thank you. And ordinance number 568, an ordinance of the...
You need to adopt it first. He can read it first. Okay. Okay.
Ordinance number 568, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, County of Los Angeles, State of California, amending Chapter 12.21 of the Hawaiian Garden Municipal Code relating to public skate parks. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mhm. Number 3, adopt urgency ordinance number 569U of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, County of Los Angeles, State of California, to amend Title 15 by repealing from Title 15's sections as listed. Mr. Counsel, do I have to read all of these? Okay, okay. Thank you very much. I make a motion to accept this. Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
You have to read it by title?
No.
You know what, since it's so long and it has all the numbers, as long as it's on the record, it's in the staff report, we're fine.
Can we have information on this? I mean,
Yeah,
I know what it is, but the discussion. Mr. Colombo, I know we have it twice, and you already explained it to me why, so can you explain?
Yeah, let
to
me give
the-
a brief explanation. So basically, item B3 and B4 run together, and we do this every 3 years. We basically adopt new building codes every 3 years. And so the state building code is going to become effective for all municipalities on January 1st, 2017. Our city, along with many other cities, adopts LA County code by reference. So what happens is that if we just adopt the regular ordinance, which is 570, you have your first reading and second reading, then 30 days thereafter, it'll put us beyond January 1st. So we're running both ordinances together so that 569U becomes effective immediately by January 1st. The county just recently adopted their ordinance, so it takes time for us to catch up with their decision-making body. So we are running both, and we are recommending that you adopt both. So 569U becomes effective immediately for January 1st, 2017. On 570, you will have your first reading tonight, your second reading on January 10th, which is actually a public hearing, and then if that's adopted, 30 days after that, so that'll put us sometime in February 10. So there's no changes. It's just something that, again, we do every 3 years, and we're adopting the county code by reference.
Thank you.
Now, just to clear it for the record, if I may, I believe there was a motion, there might have been a second, and I believe there was actually a motion to approve that the votes.
The discussion happened between the motions.
Okay, so there wasn't a final vote?
There hasn't been a vote on number 4.
Okay, great.
I make a motion to move this. I make a motion to move.
Second.
Move means approval.
Okay, wait. Let me read this.
Move to approve.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 569U. Can I get a second?
Second.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, before we move on, is there further discussion amongst the council?
A clarification, 569U has already been approved.
We approved it, then we read it.
The discussion came between motion 560's approval and 570. That's when the discussion came in. So now 570 has to have a motion, a second, and a vote.
I think the confusion is in number 4. So
Yeah, so I'll read number 4.
So that's been
So
approved.
number 3's been approved,
And now
correct?
we're on number 4, B4.
B4, conduct first reading and introduce ordinance number 570 of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, County of Los Angeles, State of California, to amend Title 15 by repealing from Title 15 sections as listed. Now, do I open this up for discussion right now? No? Or do I make a motion to approve?
There needs to be a motion and then discussion.
Motion, second it, and then discussion.
Okay, I make a motion
Second.
to accept this.
And now discussion.
All in favor?
No,
Okay.
now discussion.
Discussion. Do we have anybody have anything to say about this ordinance right here?
It's the same as the previous one, so we already discussed
They're hand in
it.
hand, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's been.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We'll move down to C, our consent calendar. There's 7 items. Would anybody like to remove any item from our consent calendar?
I would like to remove C4.
I would like to remove C3.
I make a motion to accept the remaining items on the consent calendar. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll be moving to consent calendar item 3. Mariana Rios.
Yeah, you read it.
Okay. Adopt resolution number 083-216 to approve an employment agreement for the position of city manager.
Ms. Hollinsworth?
Yes. It is being requested that the City Council approve an employment agreement to fill the position of City Manager for the City of Hawaiian Gardens. The City Council engaged in an extensive search and recruitment process with the assistance of a respected search firm, Alliance Resource Consulting, LLC. This process resulted in over 40 applicants seeking to fill the position of City Manager. After careful review of the resumes and applications, a select number of candidates were interviewed by the City Council. After a series of interviews, one candidate has surfaced with the proper city experience and background to fulfill the duties and responsibilities as city manager. Negotiations have been ongoing with this candidate to be included in an employment agreement for approval by the City Council. Final terms and language of the employment agreement have now been completed and have been distributed to the City Council. The recommendation is for the council to approve the employment agreement for the position of city manager with the candidate selected by the City Council. The candidate, did I announce the name or? The name of the candidate who's been selected is Ernie Hernandez, and he would be starting with us on January 9th.
In the meantime, I want to thank Linda Hollinsworth for all of her work here as our interim city manager. She's done an excellent job, and she's kept us afloat. The city hasn't burned down, so thank you so much for all that you've done.
Yeah, I would also like to comment on Linda. I so much appreciate you, how you stepped forward in a time of need and you responded. You did an excellent job. You worked really hard. You had some great ideas, still have great ideas. And really appreciate you going out on a limb and doing that job. It's been great working with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Linda, but I would like to appreciate her properly. Maybe we could present her with a certificate or some sort of recognition when the new city manager is in place.
And I'd like to say thank you very much, Linda. You were patient with me. Thank you for all your hard work. Would anybody like to make a motion to receive?
One more thing. I was
Okay.
just, Linda, I guess I won't be bothering you too much. But I still have one more question on this items, and
And
I'm
you
not going to
didn't-
let you go out easy.
And you didn't come to me beforehand.
We didn't have enough time.
I know.
Now, do I call for a motion to receive C3? Can I get a motion to accept C3?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 083 2016 to approve an employment agreement for the position of city manager to Ernie Hernandez.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll be moving to C4. Adopt resolution number 084-216 to approve pre-issued warrants and regular warrants in the amount of $1,429,896.81. Mr. Ronaldo Rodriguez.
Yes, Linda, on page 72, the warrants for the LA County Sheriff, it's $298,000, and then on page 84, it's $293,000. This is also for our safety, our LA County Sheriff's Department. And
Mr. Rodriguez, you're going too fast for me. Can you go back to the first request?
page 72.
And so what is your question about
The
that?
question is the amount we paid for public safety to our sheriffs.
Okay, so are we going to get a response, or you're just bringing it up?
I'm asking. Okay, it's right at the top. Public safety, 298,000.
That says total public safety, so that's the total amount. Actually, the sheriff's bill is on page 71. The sheriff's bill is on page 71. While it does make up most of it, most of that 298, what you actually have is a bill for 217,000, and then another one for 57,000.
So we can just deduct $993 from the 298, and that's what the bill is.
900.
Because that's the utilities, I guess, or
Well, you have
wireless.
utilities.
I guess we pay for their phone also.
Oh, and then we have the 13,000. Yeah,
Right.
you have the Henry Radio, Cintas.
Yeah.
You've got the All City Animal Trapping, the Animal
Now,
Control.
Okay, and the next one is page 84.
Before we move forward, can I just get clarification? What does that brutality grant mean?
Well, that we we have a grant that partially has funded. When you sign up for the service, you can get a officer under a grant program, which reduces the cost of that officer. So one of the officers we have is under that grant process, so that's what's put in the description. That is part of all of the services, or all of the officers we have. So it's a grant that's offered through the Sheriff's Department that they reduce the cost of an officer.
Okay, the next question is on page 84.
Okay.
And the total
This-
bill was $293,000. That includes all their office equipment
Right.
and all that.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
again, you have the same charge as the 217
Right.
and
Exactly,
the
that's
57.
why it kind of stood out, because they were the same, almost the same charges. It's just a
We-
few dollars difference.
Right, we have a monthly charge that we pay that under contract to the Sheriff's Department, and so that's why you'll see the same amounts that occur. And the only difference that you're going to see now is we have the motorcycle officers out there, and they are not part of that contract amount, so it's a different line item that you'll see for them. But the others, it will be the same amount. We sign a contract for their services for our deputies that we have on our for our city, and those are charged the same every month. there isn't any difference to
That
them.
would be the same on page
Ev-
101.
Yeah, every
which
month.
is the
But
same.
what you will see is a little bit of a change in the total for public safety, because you do have in there utilities and you have phones and you have other expenses that come in. So depending on what other expenses you have, that total for public safety could change.
Okay, now, actually, the question is, I looked back and I looked at the dates, and this is actually for 3 months.
Yes, there was a slight
And-
delay in getting the bills processed.
Okay, that's why it stood out. So, when I seen
Yeah.
the million and some,
Yeah.
and I added up all the warrants on the sheriffs, and then I said, wait a minute,
Whoa,
why
yeah.
so much? And then I noticed they were like almost identical.
Yeah.
Then I went and looked, and it was different days, so it's for 3 months.
Right, yeah, we had a delay in
And-
getting those processed, so yes.
So normally it's once
Normally
a
it
month.
would be one a month, and we'll be back on track now.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt this resolution number 084-216. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Do I open up for discussion? It's open for discussion. Anybody have anything to say about this adoption? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll be moving down to D, discussion items. My appointment of the mayor as director and alternate director to the Los Angeles County Sanitation District Number 19. Do I appoint this, or?
Mr. Mayor, you are already the mayor, you are already the director, and yes, you appoint an alternate director to the Los Angeles County Sanitation District, number
Okay.
19.
Then I would like to appoint Mayor Pro Tem Barry Bruce to be an alternate. Are we moving on to 2? Discussion regarding the city's annual parade and carnival for 2017. Linda, can we get a report? I know
Sure.
Steve will come to you, but can you give us a financial report on this?
Well, I can give you the basic information, and then Steve is prepared to answer
Oh.
questions and specifics.
Okay.
Basically, we have in the current budget an approved amount of $80,000 for the parade and carnival. And as you saw in previous reports that I gave you, we spent more than that for the parade and carnival. So for this current year, we budgeted the same amount, but last year it exceeded $189,000 if you included all the staff time. So, and a large portion of these are related to the parade. So if the council determines that they want to again have the parade and carnival, next meeting, staff will bring back a budget amendment to add an additional $110,000 to that line item on the budget, because the $80,000 will not cover the parade and carnival. So what we're doing is asking for direction from the council on how they would like to proceed.
Well,
Yes. And if I may interject
Okay,
briefly,
go ahead.
sorry, council member. Typically in January is when we bring the proposed contracts from the parade company as well as the carnival company to city council for approval and adoption. Obviously, you're all very familiar with the process of the parade and carnival. It's a very lengthy process. A lot of planning is required. So we typically start that process around this time of year. But as Linda mentioned, we are seeking direction from council on this matter.
So, Linda, are you saying that we need to allocate almost $300,000 to the parade?
No, it's a
189 plus
189.
110?
No. The 189 is what we spent last time.
Oh, I
We
see.
currently have budgeted 80. So we would need about budget an additional $110,000 in our budget, and we'll bring back that. If the determination is to do the parade and carnival, we'll bring back a budget amendment to increase the budget. And as Steve mentioned, they also need to do their contracts, and so if the decision is to move forward, then they will be bringing back the contracts for the parade and carnival vendors at the next meeting also.
This is worrisome for me because obviously we approved a 2-year budget and a $110,000 oversight is kind of strange. Why was that not taken into consideration when we added this allotment to our budget?
I can't speak to when you originally budgeted that, because when I came in, the budget was already put together, and what I did was we went with that budget.
You weren't here for our first budget cycle?
It had already been set up. I came in when they already had it pretty well set, and so in terms of the budget for the Parade and Carnival, it was the amount that they had set, and they previously set that, and it seemed to be the accepted amount. It was when I got in and started running reports and using the a new job tracking thing that I was able to identify that the costs actually exceeded what we budgeted. What was happening is we were budgeting staff overtime in other places. We were putting the police department costs in public safety instead of in the cost of the parade and carnival. So we weren't properly putting those numbers into the place they belonged. Therefore, in previous years, they probably were coming in under budget because we didn't have all the costs actually accounted for. So
and
it was changing.
Is this specifically for the parade, not the carnival? Because I know the carnival brings in profits. Is that correct, Mr. Gomez?
Yes, you're correct. The parade expenditures, including staffing, cost approximately about $90,000, and then the carnival, after paying back the nonprofits their portions from the carnival, costs about $45,000, something along those lines, I believe.
Yeah.
So the parade costs are about double. The revenues we did collect from the carnival is our portion of the ticket sales, and as well as sponsorships as well. We collected just over $24,000 in sponsorships. However, that's a combination from the parade and the carnival.
Would the price of the carnival change if we do not have a parade? Are they different companies or?
They're different companies. So basically the way it works with the carnival company is we get a percentage of their ticket sales. I believe we collected just over $50,000 in pre-sale and walk-up profits from the carnival company. However, they keep their portion, and then we have the pre-sale incentive program with our nonprofits where we give them a percentage as well. So after paying the carnival company their profit and after paying the nonprofits their revenues, the difference that the city kept was just over $13,000. Correct.
Well, the other council members haven't commented, but I appreciate that you brought this to our attention before we started the planning. It looks like we would continue with the carnival, if I'm understanding you correctly, and the question is actually just the parade because of the prohibitive costs. Am I understanding the reason you're bringing this forward?
Well, staff will abide by whatever direction council provides. However, the carnival is drastically less expensive than a parade. So obviously council has numerous options. You can stay with the current format. You could do only the carnival. You can do the parade every other year. You could do the parade on the 5-year increments, the 55th anniversary, the 60th, etc. Whatever direction you provide, we will go by. We just wanted to bring the expenses to your attention because, again, everyone's trying to be fiscally responsible.
Well, I am on the events committee, and I know that our staff does an extremely large amount of work. However, I know that the parade is something that our community loves. It is very expensive. So I would like to take this into consideration and maybe have the community think about it. And if there's major opposition or major support for this idea, to give them time to consider it. That will also give time to the new city manager to come in and get their feet wet in regards to this matter and the events that we do, and maybe consider having it every other year instead of every single year. But the community needs to bring that forth and let us know what they think. Because I'm one that's there every year, looking at the parade for many, many years. And it just highlights our city, and it's just a wonderful thing that every single parade is extremely successful because we all come out. And this is even before I was on council. When we come together as a community, the sidewalks are always lined up, and it's extremely successful. So that would be my recommendation.
I have a question. Are the performers that perform where the carnival site is, are they paid through the parade budget or through the carnival budget?
The carnival entertainment is paid through the carnival budget.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'm speaking for the community here because the parade is the only time where you can see the whole city come together. On the streets, you can see them all lined up from the beginning to the end, and it's they're always looking forward to our parade every year, and another $110,000. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but we spend a lot of money on other things that we shouldn't be spending on. But I can think of a couple of, I can't say items, that we can almost save that much by eliminating them. Something that we really don't need. And that could be brought up in our next budget meeting. And so I don't want to shortchange the city, the community, our citizens, our residents. Well, I don't want to shortchange them because this is what they look forward to every year. And this is the only time where they all get together. We have other events like the powwow, we have the golf tournament and all that, and it's just for certain people. Not everybody shows up for those events. But the parade, they're all there. They line up the street all the way up to the carnival. So I'm for it 100% that we should continue our parade and find a way to save on other items, and put it to our parade budget.
Well, your comment just shocks me, but thank you. Like, wow.
I want to thank you, Linda, for taking everything and putting it into the right bowl. Because, like you said, so oftentimes we haven't included staff in this, or we haven't included, and it really should all be included under one thing. When we do the parade, staff, police, everything we need should be in one place instead of all over the warrants, and because now we can really see clearly what we're really spending. And you're doing that not only for the parade, but you're doing that for all items. And it's a huge help. And I appreciate you doing that so much. You've brought that in, and you're very fiscally responsible that way, and I'm really happy about that. I am a little alarmed, of course, about the amount of money, because I'm somebody who wants to save money. I mean, I agree with Ray. I think it's a great event. I love the parade, and I think the people love the parade. I'm kind of on Mariana's side with it being every other year as opposed to yearly because it's just so expensive. But if we could knock out a few other special events to compensate for the parade to do every year, then I would be more than willing to do that. But to keep our current things the way they are and the amount of spending that we're spending, and then to add in another, $89,000 or whatever, I just think that that's not fiscally responsible. So I'm kind of between the two here. I would like to keep it, but we have to think of a way to knock some things out in order to justify the parade, in my opinion.
I'm in agreement with you, Barry, on both matters. I think some events we might consider not having them, and I do think that we need to do this every other year. There's a lot of staff time allocated to this, not just what Linda budgeted, but there are a lot of meetings that take place, a lot of resources that take place. I used to sit on the special events committees as a staff member, and it does consume a lot of staff time that could be used to support other programs. And we have a finite number of staff members, so it's very difficult for all of our programs to be fully successful if staff is pulled months in advance, just fully dedicated to working on, our parade. So I would be in favor of having the carnival every year. It seems like the cost is not too much. We can still provide 3 days or 2 days of performers and events there, and we can probably be more creative with what we offer the community for those 3 days and be more innovative in that sense. But yeah, I do think that we need to be more fiscally responsible and beef up our reserves. So perhaps knocking out a couple of events that the community doesn't see as much, needed, that would be better placed in our reserves. I think we need to really think about that.
Well, I was greatly concerned when the budget was approved that this wasn't taken into account, but I'm shocked by Mr. Rodriguez's comment. So if he's like the voice of, this, I love the parade. So am I switching your mind, or am I switching your way, or?
So if you guys decide to do it every other year, this year when they ask me, how come we're not going to have a parade? Well, go ask Myra, go ask Barry.
Don't ask me, because I'm going to support you on every year.
So you guys are going to have to answer to that. So.
Myra, can we get support for Mr. Rodriguez every year?
I could think of a lot of better uses of $100,000, things that we've cut out, such as our tutoring programs to support our students, our Common Core. There are so many programs that benefit the community in ways that we can't even document. So I'm really much in favor of knocking out some events when we get to the budget sessions with our new city manager, and definitely having this every other year. I really want to beef up our reserves. I think our community needs to be safeguarded in case of an event, a crisis. So that's where I stand.
I have to say this, that lately the casino's been in the newspaper, and we're going to work through this with them, but we're going to need the employees to work with us so we could all get through this together. And I love the parade too. I can see Mr. Rodriguez and Mariana Rios loving it because the city loves it, and it's always packed. But if we can cut, like Myra and Barry said, certain things out to continue it, we can. But I think we got to pull our heads together and work in the same direction. And we know what's lacking with our city in certain events that we even have to try to get participants in. They're not needed. And that's a lot of money we could put toward your yearly carnival. So parade. Carnival yearly, every year. Yes. And maybe even if we do have a year without a carnival, the parade, we can substitute it with a chili cook-off, which is my best event. That brings people out, and then go to the carnival. But we can still hash this thing through and come together and see what's best for us to cut to keep this parade yearly. But because we're going to be working through this thing with the casino, I feel we should I feel we should do it every other year. Have it this year, not next year. But maybe in our budget cuts we could find the money to have it every year.
Well, let's give the time for residents to think about it. Mm-hmm. We've kind of heard each other. Mm-hmm. This is the first we hear of it, or the idea. And let's just come back January 10th. I don't think that much is going to happen between the holidays, Mr. Gomez. And hopefully the residents will come and say yay or nay, and help us through this choice.
Yes, we would definitely need direction by January. That's feasible. That's typically when we bring the contracts to the council for approval. And just along the lines of other special events, obviously I know it was suggested maybe in the budget process, council can decide on what events maybe to keep or delete. Another option to consider possibly is, I know the newly elected mayor is going to be appointing some of the subcommittees, so maybe we might be able to address this issue sooner if possibly the subcommittee can meet maybe with one of our recreation commissioners along with myself and Mr. Serrano, and come up with some suggestions that we can then present to you at a future council meeting. That might be quicker possibly than the budget time, but again, that's up to you.
We'll be ready for budget time.
Can you do that? Can you come up with some? You're talking about things that you could potentially cut in order to save money.
Events to eliminate. Yes.
Well, could you bring that to council for that council meeting in January when we discuss it, and we could have also the community come forward and state their feelings about the decisions?
We could definitely do that. I would feel more comfortable if the council considered maybe having the special events committee and possibly a commissioner, because there's more voices involved, and maybe more voices representing you as council members. However, if you want staff to do that, we can make those suggestions as well. Whatever.
Mr. Gomez, I'd remind you that we are in the holiday season, and your staff is busy working with the volunteer recognition, which is coming up in January. So I would request, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on the events committee or not, but we do need more time to consider, particularly if we're now bringing commissioners and staff. So it's not going to be a rushed decision of what we're recommending. Right now, the issue at hand is a parade,
right?
Which is what we would be bringing back by January 10th.
So you're saying that you would like the recreation commission to do it, or you're talking about special events committee?
A combination.
Oh, okay.
A combination. Maybe the special events committee that Mayor Trimble designates can meet with one of our commissioners, along with Mr. Serrano and myself, the 5 of us, and kind of brainstorm and come up with proposed events to consider to eliminate. Again, just a suggestion, or staff can bring those to your attention, or council can decide that during the budget process. There's numerous options.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would support that idea. I think that's a good idea. I mean, it's the more people we have involved in the decision, the more, palatable the decision will be. Because you want the community to give feedback. And I know that, I love the parade just like you all love the parade. I'm just trying to be responsible financially as well. And, so I'm not saying to do away with the parade in any way, shape, or form, but to definitely do it every other year. Or, like I said, to find enough items to cut yearly that we do to make the parade a yearly thing that is going to be, balance it out. Yeah, I know. Ray's already writing down things.
He's already ready to cut. Oh, my goodness.
And I agree with that. I believe there's a lot of things that we could cut. I think it's important. I mean, we do great events. We saw the video tonight. Those are great events. But
I want to see those notes.
I would really like to see us being more frugal in those events. And then choosing certain events to do the very best that we can do rather than lots of events to do the ones we do very, very well. And so I just think I think that's a great idea. I don't know if we need to make a motion to that or if that's just a staff thing that you're going to do.
If we could just receive staff direction on which suggestion you prefer staff to.
We're moving it to January 10th, the discussion, for further inquiry.
Regarding the parade.
Right.
Yes.
And so can you come to us, you think, by January 10th also with some recommendations?
Staff recommendations?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you'll meet with your special events committee and commissioner?
Is there
that's
time?
the thing. The new mayor would probably have to appoint
That's
them.
going to be on January 10th.
First, yeah.
He'll be appointing the new committee. So maybe we just bring back to the 10th, we bring back the parade issue, get whatever input you can gather from people that you know. I'll bring back the budget amendment so that you can see that. And then at the following meeting, there should be time to meet and talk about special events, and maybe at the next meeting bring something back.
And you must remember also we will be having a new city manager, so that person needs to be involved in the decision making.
So pushing it out to the last meeting, or even the first meeting in February, if that's what it takes, will allow him an opportunity to also participate.
And will you still have enough time with that kind of time passage to secure contracts and things if we do?
Well, we have the contracts on hand. It's just a matter of typically in January is when we start meeting. We can probably go ahead and proceed meeting and planning, but just hold back on obviously any invoices and things like that pertaining to the potential parade. But ideally, by the end of the January meeting, we'd prefer to get exact direction for.
Well, you'll be able to move ahead with the carnival no matter what, because that's not even an issue. Yeah.
Right, and they're different vendors, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, so at this point, I think it would, for the record, I would recommend there be a motion be made so that the record's clear what the council majority directed staff to do. So if there is a motion that a member of the council would like to make, I think it's appropriate at this time to make it.
What I would like to motion that we bring back the city's annual parade to the January 10th meeting, and that will give an opportunity for the community to bring ideas at that time. That's the first motion.
And just add staff to that, staff and the community, and I think that's the
Right. Well,
motion.
Sorry, we usually have a report by staff, so I don't mind adding the word staff to it as well.
Right.
You need clarification.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I will motion that we will have an analysis of the various events with staff and the whole commission, not just a representative from the commission, but we can go ahead and include the whole commission. Then we can go ahead and get some sort of a information inquiry by February, because it seems to me that you're rushing things, and so we have to really look at, it's going to be an in-depth inquiry by the commission and by the events committee to review the events that we do citywide.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We will be moving to item D, discussion items. 3, consideration to cancel the regular city council meeting scheduled for December 27th, 2016 due to the holiday and to declare the meeting dark. I make a motion to approve this. Can I get a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council action. Let me see. Are there any committee reports? Any new business? Oral staff reports? Oral council reports?
I have a council report. I just wanted to, I don't know, I know the community has been watching the media, and I know that a lot of children and families, innocent families, are being, there's like a genocide going on in Aleppo in Syria, and so I just wanted to just bring this to the community's attention. Hopefully, if you believe in a higher authority, God or anything like that, to please keep those families in your prayers. I have a Twitter account, and a lot of innocent victims have been posting, very sadly this week, saying their last goodbyes on Twitter, receiving a lot of media attention, and fears that nobody will be, will go out to save these innocent people. So I know this is a holiday season, and a lot of families come together. And luckily, we live in America where all of us are nice and, for the most part, safe. And so, once again, I just want to bring to light that there's a lot of turmoil in this world, and my heart aches for all these innocent children and families. And if your family is blessed in every sense and you guys have additional means to donate, UNICEF is taking donations that you can earmark to go directly to the victims of Aleppo.
Yes. I was going to ask any other comments.
Yeah, I just have an announcement to the city. The Way Out Ministries is having a Christmas show, a drama that is put on by many of the kids from the city of Hawaiian Gardens, and it's the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th. There's 3 shows. Shows are $5 for the 16th and 17th, $3 for the 18th. It's a great family comedy with a really fun Christmas message called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Tickets can be purchased at the Way Out Ministries.
I would just I know we have our celebration on Friday for staff, and I know we will be saying a few comments at that time, but I really would like to just thank our retirees, Juana, Tina, and of course Mr. Trimble, who have just dedicated so much of their time and life to our city and making it a better place. I know with Tina, I would see her often as we went into the office, and with Juana, one thing that stands out is her overtime dedication. I mean, I'm sure the staff can better speak to that, but I know I was here on off days and evenings, and she was still here trying to get her particular portion of that job done. So, and Mr. Trimble, obviously, I've met you through the union and through the transportation department. So just thank you to all of them. They were just amazing people, and obviously the staff that is now in the city, they make the city happen. We can be up here, but they are the ones that directly communicate with the residents. They take council directive and you know, Sue, I'm looking at you directly, make the minutes and make everything. So just thank you to them, and then just thank you to all the staff that that work here. And obviously wishing a very happy holiday to all of our residents. I know many individuals, many of us have, you know, heartache, have troubles happening, but we do rely on each other, and if we focus on our blessings, that seems to be pulling us through. So happy holidays to you, and we'll see you in January.
I make a move to adjourn this regular city council meeting. Our next one will be held on January 10th at 6 p.m. Good night.